And I think the important thing is that this isn't just for its own sake. This stuff has fundamental strategic benefit as well. Stuff that ultimately drives bottom lines, top lines and bottom lines. We know it's good for customers. But, digital experiences done properly can actually have a profound impact on other areas of the organization. Reducing costs, growing growing the customer base, and indeed even boosting things like loyalty. So some examples. The UK has I'm from the UK, I grew up in South Africa, and I've lived in California for 15 years. So if you're trying to place the accent and you couldn't, that's the story. Thanks for trying. No one ever gets it right. So the UK, where I'm from, has this thing called the Government Digital Service. And what their goal is, kind of unremarkably, to create digital government services. So they're very aptly named, very conservatively named. But their job is to figure out how to make it easier for the British public to interact with government. And they've actually done many, many things, including about 20 different projects of fundamentally making it easier to be a citizen. And they include things like, improved online voting registration, things for patent applications. I mean, all sorts of things that require engagement and forms and so on, they have made more digital. In so doing, they've actually saved the British taxpayer £3.5 billion, according to the Treasury, over the period from 2012 to, I think, 2015, and it's obviously a lot more now. This is when the data was done. And it cost the British taxpayer about £50 million to achieve that return. So that's good news, and is a great example of how to drive cost out of a process. Fine. But if we think of it from growing a customer base, and this, ironically, will not be about Facebook's consumer growth and the 1.8 billion people, and let's not even go to where the data went. If we think of Facebook from a business point of view, their B2B customers, which is us, we advertise, right? The feedback they had was it was hard buying ads. Given that that's their core business, they had to go and address it. So they fundamentally reworked their B2B online ad buy processes and the ease with which small and medium-sized firms could just go set up a campaign. And purely on the back of that, they saw a 56% lift because it was suddenly easier to do business with them. They hoovered up a whole pile of folks that hitherto had never run ads on Facebook because suddenly now they could. You can't scale like that by hand. And then equally, if we think of the loyalty side of things, so some data came out from Forrester about multi-channel or cross-channel or however you want to call it, forecasting that this year, multi-touch, multi-channel retail will be a $1.8 trillion set of transactions. And what's fueling that is this notion of multi-touch point shopping. People operating several different modes, having a joined-up, consistent experience across them. Macy's found that its customers who do multi-channel engagements with them are 8 times more likely to shop with them and more valuable than those that just buy from a single channel. In other words, those that just walk in store. So when you think of the lifetime value, this stuff has a profound strategic effect as well. Why? Because fundamentally, we're expecting these joined-up journeys, right? We're consumers. We know this stuff. We want to see that those, that whole engagement with a company, the marketing that they do, seamlessly flows into the sales or the commerce that, we're transacting with them, that we naturally are well supported through and post-purchase, and that we join a wonderful community of people who are like us that have been through that same journey. And unfortunately, it doesn't always happen like that, though I think we all aspire to it, right? And this is the essence of what this sort of transformation is around, is how to deliver on this.